Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Parent Chats on Nova Scotia Live TV. My name is Ken Hubley, and I'm your host. Every week, we try to bring you exciting guests and informative topics to be able to help you with your own self care as parents and also to help parent your children. Tonight is no exception. We have a great guest. His name is Dylan Cleroux, and he is a training specialist and weightlifting trainer as well, and a strength conditioning coach. He's also known on Instagram as Coach Cleroux. So, Dylan, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Ken. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Just a side note, Coach Cleroux is also my personal trainer, and so is my wife. We've been working with him now for, I don't know, six months or so, and
Yeah, about that. Just shy of a year, I'd say.
just shy of a year, and it's been amazing. Really enjoyed the process and learned so much from being able to do that. So, Dylan, let me start out with a question that a lot of parents are dealing with. This generation, we've just had COVID and was kind of still into it, but starting to get restrictions removed. A lot of people have aging parents that they need to help as well. They have children and families. They have work commitments. Really, really too busy. And this is where we left our last show about self care and the importance of self care. How do parents, they can't fit in sometimes long workout sessions. What do they need to stay healthy and to address their health concern, their
Yeah,
fitness level?
I think that's a huge topic of conversation right now, especially coming out of COVID and living with COVID to more normal times right now. So I'd say the biggest misconception is that you have to work out for, say, at least 60 minutes at a time. You and I both know that we can scale that time back, carve out 15, 20 minutes in the span of a day, get a lot of repetitions done in a short amount of time. As long as we're doing those movements correctly, making them fun, um, bringing in other people for more sense of community, making that fitness a priority is really going to help you day to day. It's going to help you with your sleep. It's going to help with those stress levels. It's going to help bridge a stronger connection with your family members. As you know, you and your wife train together with me. It's a great time. We build a
Yeah.
nice community. Then we can take that to the next step and branch out and then teach our kids those same kind of habits. And it's all about being more so a role model for the kids. If the child sees their parents or their guardians living a healthy, active, happy lifestyle, more often than not, they're going to follow in their parent or guardian's footsteps and then take the ball and run with it. And just because they see you doing something that you enjoy, maybe that's not something they like. As long as people are willing to try, broaden their horizons on what they like to do for fitness and recreation. Because as we know, fitness is not just lifting weights in the gym. It can look like anything. It could be tag on the playground. It could be hopscotch, what have you. So yeah, just making that fitness a priority and carving out just little chunks of time. I mean, doing 15 minutes of exercise is more productive sometimes than sitting on the couch.
Exactly. I really like that distinction you make that fitness is not just lifting weights or just being in the gym or just something organized. It can be as simple as tag or what have you, because it's so true. An active lifestyle, you can work at it and just it's fun. And when we go and we train with you, or even when we go to the gym or maybe to the track to go for a run, we're doing it because it's fun and you really enjoy the activities, and the side benefit is the health. So I'm glad you mentioned that. One thing I learned from you as well is about small steps. I remember I was starting to jump a few weeks ago, and it seemed so high, and I was a little unsure of myself. And as you started to add smaller mats, I'd work my way up, and the next thing was I'm jumping just as high, if not higher, as the original jump I didn't want to do in the beginning. So that's kind of cool about your uh, thoughts about taking steps and having fun while you're doing it.
Yeah. And even when we're carving out those smaller chunks of time, like a 15, 20
Yep.
minutes, maybe in 2 weeks' time, we reassess, we add another 5 minutes. So just like those baby steps that you mentioned, something can seem really scary if we go the opposite of quitting cold turkey, if we just start and go as hard as we can for 60 minutes, chances are it's going to deter us. We're going to be sore for a while, and then we might not get back on the bike, as they say. So just little marginal steps make a big difference.
I know you work a lot with young people as well. And what I think that's really important because how do we talk to our kids if they need to get more exercise that we're still positive? As we know, kids' confidence can be very fragile at times, and we don't want to send them the wrong message, but we want to encourage them to be strong, to be healthy, and to love being active. What are your advice in that area?
Yeah, so I train a lot of teams. I do some youth and some kids classes in my spare time. In the past, I've also worked as a phys ed instructor at a private school. So I know, and not to knock teachers or a classroom setting, but I know how peer pressure can get to primarily children in phys ed type settings. So I guess it's basically just setting yourself up for success or setting the kid up for success. So when you're picking teams, for example, in a sport, we don't go one for one for one for one. We find a creative or a more random way to then balance out from a team setting. So most children's introduction to sport and recreation will be through a phys ed program in school. So I would urge those teachers, parents of those children, to try to promote more fair play and getting away from that team sport mentality. Promoting fitness in the schools will be a good on ramp to then branch out, because chances it could happen that a kid just wants to do fitness. They don't want to do a team sport. They don't want to do an individual sport. Maybe they just want to work on themselves because it feels good. And that's when we get into those endorphins. People talk about the runner's high. It feels good to exercise. So I guess trying to use positive reinforcement, positive language, sandwiching those compliments with what we can work on in the middle, starting them out on a good point, leaving them on a good point, but wedging that, not that deterrent, but wedging that in between the two positives there. Yeah, and with the schools as well, it's easier to onboard the children that way, because we don't need any funds. And that brings me to my next point is you do not need to spend a lot of money to do fitness. Going back to the last question, playing schoolyard games, making fitness fun. YouTube is a great resource. Instagram is a great resource. And trying to carve out what the good and the bad ideas are. If something looks really complex, fitness isn't hard. It's really simple. A squat is never going out of style. Standing position, getting down those hips below the knees and back up. So trying to keep it simple, and really utilizing those free options to promote fitness that way.
So let's say I'm somebody who hasn't been into fitness. I mean, I do enjoy it, but let's say for the people who haven't been into fitness, you have all this information on nutrition, you have all this information on fitness and moving. What I think I hear you saying is start moving, is to move forward. But if you wanted to get some information on nutrition, there's all these different diets that's out there and all of this. What would be your advice to people who don't they're not educated in how to start a nutrition program, yet they want to get active and start to be nutritious themselves or give better nutrition to for their children?
Yeah, of course. So I would stay away from fad diets. So something that seems to be the flavor of the week. So anything that seems too good to be true, probably too good to be true in the fitness world. It takes hard work. Nothing's easy. Things might be simple, but they're not easy. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to calories in versus calories out. and trying to eat the best possible food we can. We know that is hard with the cost of living going up, price of groceries through the roof. It's hard to get those healthy foods when it is very easy and a little bit cheaper to eat more unhealthy. I use a generic rule. I use the 80-20 rule. So as long as I eat 80% of my food, I'm proud of what I ate in my heart, I'm happy. And again, it comes down to the same thing with the baby steps. If that rule is 50-50 for you at the start, great. And then start working it and pivoting it into the other direction. So really trying to utilize people who you think you have a connection with. When it comes to YouTube, when it comes to Instagram, or any type of like fitness articles from that are peer reviewed. If not, you can talk to your physician. You can talk to, I know at the Superstore and Sobeys, they have nutritionists there. They'll answer your question. You have a question or two, as long as you don't chew up too much of their time. They're happy to answer your question there. If you do have disposable income, personal trainer, conditioning coach, nutritionist, life coach, any of those type of people can help you. But yeah, it comes down to building a strong connection with someone through a visual or like a social media platform.
Excellent. And talking about social media, I know you have an Instagram page. Did you want to share anything with us about it? If people want to be able to find you?
Yeah. So if anyone wants to find me, I'm available at Coach Cleroux. So my last name is Cleroux. I am a certified strength conditioning coach, personal trainer, kettlebell instructor, and TRX instructor. And I also specialize in training with youth. If you send me a message or DM, I'll definitely answer you. And that goes back to the last question too. You can always send someone a direct message. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to leave you on red. They're not going to answer you, but chances are someone will answer you. So cast a big net, find someone you connect with, and reach out to them.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And I can assure you that Dylan is excellent to work with and very patient and extremely knowledgeable. That's the one of my favorite parts about it is you don't get bored because there's always a different exercise every week. So that's awesome. Thank you, Dylan, for taking the time out of your day to do this. I really appreciate it. And I know it's great for the audience members as well. And to the audience members, we will continue to bring you great shows with great guests that help you in your journey through parenthood. It's a wonderful journey, but having an experienced parent to bring some guests with you along the way can help out just a little bit. And that's our goal here. And remember, as I always say, my hood is parenthood. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.